how might we connect this work on the moral self to our understanding of the psychology of good and evil more broadly? If we care about pro-social behavior and reducing violence, does it matter that folk intuitions about personal identity are infused with moral valence? For one, the results have implications for the criminal justice system and how offenders are treated. It's relevant to prison reform and proposals for restorative justice programs. As Prince and Nichols write, it's a familiar refrain at parole hearings: I'm not the same person. The extent to which this claim coheres with intuitions about the self and responsibility has implications for judgments of guilt and innocence and people's chances at freedom. This came up in Professor Andrew Corey's conversation piece. He pinpoints two issues that become relevant when we ask this important question: how should we judge people for their past moral failings? Clearly, this is not an easy question, and people will argue about it. People were incredibly split, for example, in their judgments of the Brett Kavanaugh case. The two aspects Professor Corey points out in this piece as crucial to judging past moral wrongs were very much highlighted by the opposing sides in this case. First, the nature of the transgression at the time it occurred. In the Kavanaugh case, the sexual assault allegation details and the surrounding aggressive behavior was of key importance during his investigation. The nature of the transgression was very important. Second, the second aspect, and this tended to receive more attention from conservatives in this case, is, as Corey put it, how far and how deeply has the person changed since then? This raises the question, do people consider this deep, lengthy personal change since the transgression as neutralizing its harm? When does this idea work, and when does it seem insufficient or unjust? We see this idea in play in another recent illustration of identity perceptions changing, and this change directly altering perceptions of accountability in a more hopeful way. Earlonne Woods and Associates spearheaded a podcast called Ear Hustle inside San Quentin Prison, and it became a viral humanistic look inside prison culture. Woods ended up getting his sentence commuted when Governor Jerry Brown noticed his efforts. Brown cited the good work that Earlonne Woods had done and praised the podcast. He noted specifically that Woods, quote, has clearly shown that he is no longer the man he was when he committed this crime. On this line of reasoning, one must transform, become an entirely new man in the eyes of the world to be forgiven. What exactly is the currency that people lose and gain in terms of their identity from immoral acts and subsequent moral acts? As you've seen, more and more, these big questions are being examined empirically in moral psychology and experimental philosophy. If we look at the results that I've shown you so far, altogether they suggest that morality, moral change, matters more than memory, agency, and narrative coherence for how people individuate persons and track their identities over time.